Good morning, everybody. I know I'm a little bit earlier than usual, but things seem to have got out of kilter. So I've got the cameras much further down than it usually is, as I found out. So I'm just going to have to do a bit of readjusting. Just to make sure things are out of shot like they're supposed to be. That's just not worked, has it? And that'll be because it's all weirded up here now. So I'm going to have to completely readjust my entire camera stand. Sorry about this. Is that tightening it or loosening it? That's loosening it. Good. Angry run. Move out of the road. Because it is rather tight on there, to say the least. In fact, it's very bloody tight on there. Oh dear. That's going to take a lot of readjusting. So good morning to anybody who's come to watch already. As I said, I am a couple of minutes early because I have things to sort out, like getting my camera to stay in the right place. That helps, doesn't it? That helps a lot. I've just got to tighten it, and hopefully that should be it now. Nope, too much. There we go. We can put Glasgow back up there until Monday. Back up on there, and we have Combat Patrol issue 57 to do today. Well, as I said, I'm a couple of minutes early, so I'm just going to finish the setup as I normally would, and I need to. It does help. How do I do this? I've forgotten. I've completely forgotten. You would think I remember because it's like only last week that I did this. So there we go. We get that logged in there so I can come and join you all on portrait mode as well. So good morning to everybody. Welcome to Lazy Mini Painting. I am Laz, your very, very unorganised host this morning. And hopefully I will be joining you in a moment on the portrait mode before we start going through the magazine, that is. Wait for my phone to actually catch up with me. And good morning, Aaron. Shout out to I don't know who gave, I don't know who that is. Is that a person? Is that something I should even be saying online? Oh, it's a meme. It's a meme. Yeah, I do look at these things and check first. Well, as far as I was concerned, it was Gabriel's home, which is a big long thing. So it's a meme. So yeah, I don't even know what it is. Well, you've already done it. It's there. Anyone reading it can shout out themselves if they wish to, or some strange ethereal musical instrument. That's up to them. No idea what it is. No idea. I'm too old for some of these memes now. They get confusing. They really do. They really get confusing. Hurrah! Right, we're at 10 o'clock, so we're at the right time for me to actually go. I don't do many shout-outs. Now, Aaron, if it's your birthday, that's a different matter. But See, if you're going to ask me to shout out memes, then no. I don't do shout out for memes. If you've got any, as I said, it's your birthday, special occasion, anything like that, that's fine. No problem doing them. Don't perpetuate memes. Not live anyway. Not live. But anyway, right, well, see, I'm distracted already. It doesn't help. It doesn't help at all. Combat Patrol issue 57. So, let's get started. Sorry, noisy bit. And in this we get... What do we get? Well, it's part 1, I know that much, and it's Cthonian Beserks. Not Berserkers. No, that would be too simple. Beserks. Good morning, Graham. How you doing, mate? Graham, do you know what a Dixon maze is? Because that means I've got to search it up again. Dixon maze. Yeah, I spelled it right. There's lots of Dixon mazes. Oh no, there's only one though that's based in Vegas. Oh, shout out to the guy who's riding that big muddy truck Dixon maze, because that is a big muddy truck. Hey Dixon, that is a nice truck you have there. If that is the right Dixon, it is, of course. Other than that, I've got the wrong Dixon and I've completely missed the point. Would not be the first time. Then I'm missing the point. Oh well. As I said, would not be the first time I've missed the point. And oh dear, that is not good. That is a warped sprue. That is a warped sprue. That is never a good stat. That is never a good stat. But we have this issue to go through. So we're going to learn about the Cthonian Beserks. He's going to tell us how to put them together, even though he's only actually got half of the things we need. Let's see, we have a hammer. Just a single hammer. We have two hammers. We have 2 axes. We have 3 hammers. And we have the backpacked axe. And another axe. We have the 3 axes, 3 hammers, and the axe to go over the backpack. Oh, it's a maze. It's a car maze. Oh, didn't know that. Not actually a big fan of mazes, because they usually they don't make the bushes high enough. Especially over here. And so if the bushes aren't high enough, I can just see over the top. So it's not much of a maze really, is it? Not much of a maze at all. Right, now I need snips. Snippy, snip, 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 snips, which I should have got out first. You know, anyone with half a brain would have. If I had half a brain, I think Sparkles would be worried. Because then I might actually use it, and that's when I become dangerous. You know, thought processes and things. How have I managed to lose? Right, okay, that goes in there like so, and airbrush goes in that. Right, done. Fix my compressors, holding thing, so it'll hold my airbrush again. It will. It will. See, yeah, maze is spelled M-A-Y-E-S. I don't think it's a maze in the way that we think of a maze. I think it was somebody with a big truck. Okay? So, in issue 57, if you've got this, or I just picked it up this morning like me. Good morning, Rita. How are you doing? You alright? I hope so. It's early in the morning. It is really in the morning. And good morning, Ali. How are you today? York Maze is made of maize, so it's really high, taller than you jumping. And there is usually a bridge in the middle so you can see above it, but it doesn't really help. They do a different design every year. Right, okay. So if it's actually good height stalks, then I might be okay. I might be able to get lost. But usually I don't get lost in them mazes because they usually put them about 5'10" high. And then I stand on my tippy toes and see. But what we're going to find out about in this issue? I'm not sure. Right. First of all, it's going to tell us how to build the Cthonian Beserks. Which is damn near useless until next week. Next week's when it tells how to paint them. Just tell us how to paint them now and then tell us how to build them next week. Because then we've got all the bloody parts. It would make sense, wouldn't it? Then we get to learn about the Kronos hegemony, transports, and light vehicles, all for the Votan. Learning, collecting the Cthonian Beserks, and then how to play. So it's going to give us an Orcs versus Tyranids campaign mission. And then Leagues of Votan faction ability and combat patrol rules. So we have lots and lots of reading going on today. So I hope you're all ready for this. Are you ready, Rena Gina? Are you ready, Graham? Are you ready, Ali? And are you ready, Aaron? And anybody else who's in, of course. Yeah, I hope you're all ready. So the first thing it tells us to do is put a guy together and put 2 whopping great fists on him. Now, if anyone's noticed, we don't have a single power fist on any of these sprues. Not a single one. Nada. Zip. Nothing. No power fists whatsoever. And that's the first thing it wants us to build. So the first thing it says to build is the first thing that you don't actually have. Bloody useless. Right, so we're going to put the sprues to one side and I will build them next week. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, right, is Aaron trying to be a smartass? Fair enough. I think my sheer just obliviousness stopped that. I had no idea what they were on about. And me and Graham decided to talk about corn mazes instead. Corn mazes and angel flutes. So if you are quite knowledgeable about your angel hierarchy and you know which ones play the music and which ones carry the swords and which ones do the reading and which ones do the writing, you can let us know what level of angel is the musical one. So therefore, which one will be playing the angelic flutes? If not, don't worry about it. I don't intend to. So, the how to build, I'm going to have to cover next week when I actually get the pieces and the parts. And the other sprues and the bases. They do this with every 2-parter, don't they? They give you 2 sprues, they give you the instructions to build it, and the first thing they do is to tell you to use the piece that you're going to get next week. What's the point in that? Really? What's the point in that? I don't get it. I really don't understand. So it's going to be a whole reading one today. A whole reading one. So move all the how to build out of the way because we can't make it this week. Next week though, I don't think I'm going to be here on Wednesday because I have a family matter to attend to. Not a particularly nice family matter. It's the one where you've got to wear black. JJ, how you doing, man? You get to listen to me read. Reading. I did learn. Hello, Arts. I can't focus on with my eyes for some reason. I know it says something with a. Oh, Prism Arts. Prism Arts. It's got a triangle at the beginning of it, and it looked like an A, and I couldn't understand how to pronounce that word. It's early in the morning. I'm still medicated. Give me a sec. I need a second. Come on. Wakey up. Right. The Kronos hegemony. God, that's a mouthful and a half, isn't it? I shouldn't be doing this at like this early in the morning, should I? Right, come on. We can. Let's start reading. Right. Kronos hegemony. The Kronos hegemony is one of the newer leagues of Votann. They are known for their aggressive, warlike nature and are adept fighters whose belligerence is legendary and whose victories are beyond counting. They make excellent allies and fearsome enemies, and they are always looking for ways to expand their holdings. So they're expansionists. Okay. The Kronos hegemony was formed when the fame of a group called Khorne's kindred achieved self-awareness and became a Votann. With a Votann of their own, these formerly unremarkable kin were able to split off from their previous alliance with the faltering Capellan League? Or Capellan? Capellan? Capellan. Yeah, the faltering Capellan League and form a league of their own. Although it has been less than 1,000 years, the new league has risen to become one of the most powerful in the galactic core. Their Votann is unusually aggressive, pushing the kin under its sway to acquire knowledge and raw materials at a ferocious pace, and they're not afraid to use violence to achieve their ends. Those who wish to join them must offer significant tribute and swear binding oaths of military service. Ugh. Not a problem, Ali. We'll see you over on the. I'll see you from there to there. Where was that? All kindreds in the hegemony are expected to maintain massive kin hosts and meet demanding quotas of conquest and acquisition. Most of the spoils of these campaigns are then put to use in expanding their forces and bolstering the defences of their precious Votann. So the Kronos hegemony is AI gone nuts and took control and making everybody protect it by giving it bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger defences. Ooh. That doesn't sound very friendly, does it? These never split right, they're awful. Swift to anger. As one of the more warlike leagues, the Kronos hegemony has often been brought into conflict with kin from other leagues in wars over resources or reputation. It takes little to provoke them, and they do not spare their wrath even against their own kin. Yet, other kin often have reason to be glad of the Kronos hegemony's warlike nature, for they are excellent allies against alien aggressors and have saved other leagues from destruction countless times. So they're the support force. They're the Astra Militarum. Or are they the Space Marine equivalent for the leagues of Votann? No, they're the Astra Militarum. Send them out there in waves and just clog up the guns with not quite as many men. Well, how did he get there? How did they fight? Well, apparently they use armoured assault. The kin of the Kronos hegemony are infamous for their swift armoured assaults. They take to battle in sturdy armoured transports such as the Sagittor and the formidable Hecaton land fortress, hammering the enemy with gunfire as they ramble towards their target. At the front lines, the hatches of these transports slam open and bands of heavily armoured kin storm enemy positions with deadly weapons. With salvos of the kin's advanced burrowing munitions erupting beneath their feet, even the toughest of foes struggle to withstand such a devastating assault. Now, we're not going to get the drilly underground guns with these. I don't even think we're going to get a fortress of any kind. I'm going to go look. It is on there somewhere, so I should be able to tell you if we're getting a Hecaton land fortress or something equivalent. If I can just find the thing that Graham put up for me. Nope. Nope. I know it's there somewhere. Where did I save it? I've got the list for everything else that's coming, so I want to now know if we are going to be getting a weird thingy mabob. No, that's me singing orcs. That's me doing more singing. That is so good. We don't want singing, do we? Where the bloody hell is it? Oh, Graham, I've lost that list. Graham, I've lost the list that tells me where everything is. Let's see if a search for that is nope. And I know it's like way up there. To the point where I'm going to like go like that. Because I know you put it up before people started actually joining the Discord. So I'm going to have to keep going until... See, that was the games day. That was a while ago, wasn't it? Where's this? All I want to do is find out if we're getting a vehicle for the voter. That's all I want to do. You want to find out if we're getting a vehicle. And Graham's probably bounced up and down in his chair going, you should have saved the list. I know I should have saved the list. I did save the list. I just can't remember where I saved it to. It makes it a whole lot of fun to scroll all the way back up. Are we still on this year? We're still on this year. Wow, that's a lot. Thank you very much, mate. Thank you very much. Graham's just sent it to me. So no, after the Cthonian Beserks, we get the Einher Hearthguard. But in between them, we get the Boomdecker Snazwagon. Don't forget the Boomdecker Snazwagon. After the Einher Hearthguard, that's when we get moved on to the... Oh, it's the Gene Stealer cults that get the vehicle. They get a Goliath Rock Grinder. And a Mauler Fiend, obviously, with the... Right. Okay. That's bad. Thank you, Graham. Thank you. So yes, we do not get one of these nice big... We don't get any of these. The closest we get is the one from Gene Stealer Cults, which is squatter. With much squatter, wider, and got a big grindy thing on the front. So not quite the same. Is that it? Was that all the reading for that little bit of League of Votan bit? Oh, that was easy. So that was the Cronus hegemony. Now we work on the transports. Now, almost everybody has some form of transport. Whether that, even the Tyranids have a transport, they have a spore drop pod. I don't think I've ever seen one physically in my life, but I know that I'm aware of them. I know pretty much every faction has some kind of transport capacity. I'm just gonna. I really don't like that bit. There we go. So, on the battlefields of the far future, many armies rely on transports to get their troops quickly to where they need to be, or need to go, to protect them from enemy fire and to carry heavy weapons forward into the fight. Yeah, not all vehicles are there for transport. Some of them have big whopping guns mounted to them. Like even Russes, Beyblades for instance. I do like my tanks. I don't have any Rogel Dawn battle tanks though. In the deadly fighting of the 41st millennium, the ground shakes with the hum of tracked vehicles rumbling forward to enemy lines. The screams and yells of soldiers ring out as squads dismount from their transports and join straight into the worst of the fighting. Huge guns rattle, and the boom of cannons rend the air. Supporting fire rains down on troops who take shelter in the shadow of huge armoured hulls, preparing to spring out on the enemy once their mobile cover gets close enough. So the example they give of a transport, which in fairness is not the best example of a transport, but it is a good all-rounder. So it'll do transport, it will let you transport one of your units or a couple if they're small enough, but it has an absolute crap ton of guns as well. So the example they give is a Space Marine Land Raider. Land Raiders are one of the most powerful vehicles in the Space Marines armory. Mobile fortresses with a history so ancient that it blends into myth. Few Forge Worlds are now able to produce such advanced technology, but their immense firepower and toughness more than makes up for their rarity. So in the Space Marines case, they will have a cognitive engine, which is this thing here, which they call the Machine Spirit. The Machine Spirit is able to take control of the weapons and the drive systems of the vehicles autonomously. So it doesn't need a driver, it can just do it itself. And we also have the Power Core. The advanced Power Core of a Land Raider provides sufficient energy to launch attacks over vast distances. Now that also means that it powers the guns. So on this Land Raider, which is a standard pattern Land Raider, you'll have a pintle mounted Stormbolter, which is the smallest gun. Then you'll have either, well in this case you have a twin heavy bolter, which is damn sight a lot better. And then you also have two, that's one on each side, twin las cannons. They're anti-vehicle guns. So you have anti-vehicle guns, anti-slightly tough infantry gun, and anti-squishy infantry gun. So you get a bit of everything on that one, as well as a capacity to hold about 12 Marines, which is a full unit of 10 plus 2 accompanying characters. Land Raiders are fun. Pain in the ass to kill. Absolute pain in the ass to kill. Stupid value. They've always been one of the toughest vehicles in the game, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. Advanced transport. Ooh. So wait a minute. A Land Raider wasn't an advanced transport. The Hecaton Land Fortress is fitted with advanced scanners and targeting mechanisms. So they're having the Hecaton Land Fortress as an advanced transport, and the Land Raider, the assault vehicle that's designed to push forward and be on the front lines, is just a standard transport. Okay, you do you 5k. Nobody's, you're just weird anyway. It's just a weird setting. So, advanced transports. Some transports are designed to exploit the technological advancements that are available in the far future. Bristling with armaments and shielded by the latest armour, they plough forward under heavy fire to deliver their troops safely to where the fighting is thickest. When empty, they can be used as mobile weapons platforms. Which is so that should be a land raider there. That should be a land raider, not a Heckerton land fortress. I'm not saying the Heckerton land fortress can't do the mobile shooty take troops with it thing. It's just I think the land raider's a bit better. Slightly biased because I collect Space Marines, but still. Then you have biotransports. Some beasts are so powerful that even in the far future, they make an excellent transport option. Not only are creatures ridden into battle as mounts, but some are large enough to pull giant vehicles behind them, covered in heavy weapons and filled with crew waiting to dismount and engage the enemy in battle. Such creatures can cross difficult terrain with ease and are often able to join the fight themselves. So see, this time they give a good example. They give a kill rig, which is the beast snaggers. And that's pulled by a really big squig, and then has got this nice kind of trailer section behind it for all the boys to stand on and have guns mounted. So the Orc kill rig acts as both a transport and a fearsome weapon in its own right, because it does have a whopping great big harpoon going on it, just to snare anything that's coming your way and drag it towards you. The beast snaggers are hunters. They are hunters of the biggest of creatures. Well, that's the transporty side. Now, it's not giving us full transports because it's not covering things like the repulsor or the impulsor or the rhino, which are used across the rhino is used and land raider are used across both chaos and standard Space Marines. The impulsor and repulsor are used by just the Imperium Space Marines. Who else uses the rhino? There are a few. Is it Sisters of Battle? Sisters of Battle and Custodes also use like rhinos, and Custodes use land raiders as well. The Imperial Guard, not so lucky. They get chimeras, which are slight, small, little, fragile things that go pop with a missile launcher. It's great. They go pop even quicker if you shoot them with las cannons. It's quite funny. But light vehicles. Hey. Yes, Graham. I am medicated. Well, my medication's not worn off yet, which is good. It means I feel free to move a little bit more. Well, I can be a bit bouncy in the morning. It won't last long. Don't worry. Anyway, where were we up to? We're up to light vehicles. Light vehicles. Small things. Like bikes. On the battlefields of the 41st millennium, many armies make use of light vehicles and personal transports that allow troops to cross the vast distances with ease and strike at vulnerable areas without warning. In the fast-paced wars of the future, raids and attacks are undertaken at lightning speed. Bikes slalom across the battlefield, bringing their riders straight to the enemy. Skimmers shoot around the war zone, taking high ground or traversing difficult terrain, and using it as a firing position to rain shot and shell down on their targets. At the tip of the attack, jet bikes fly at the enemy, their cannons rattling and their riders bracing themselves for the thrill of close quarters combat with the foe. So, in this case, they are giving us the example of bikes. Bikes typically carry one or two soldiers, and use their speed and maneuverability to zip around the battlefield, avoiding difficult terrain and taking up tactical positions. Some bike units operate as scouts, moving ahead of the main force to sabotage enemy emplacements. Others act as fast attack forces, zooming past and strafing the enemy unit, or else piling straight into them and engaging them in close combat. So, the Genestealer Cult's Atalan Jackals are more of your scouty type unit, basically they're all on crosses, little like dirt bikes, and scout forward, find out what's there, blast, 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 run away. Space Marine Outriders, on the other hand, are more of the there's the enemy, drive straight at them, then drive into them. Same with the Orcs, the Orc Warbikers. Drive at the enemy, drive straight into them. We should get a few other forms of light vehicle as well, though, because there are some others. They did mention jet bikes and skimmers, and speak of the devil, jet bikes, skimmers. Jet bikes are one-person or two-person craft that soar above the ground, allowing them to pass straight over difficult terrain without slowing. Typically used as fast attack craft, jet bikes often boast powerful vehicle-mounted weapons and munitions in addition to the personal weapons carried by the riders. Now, Eldar like jet bikes. Eldar do like jet bikes. So do the Custodes. So anyone who's been following Mr. Cavill will be aware of those. Nice Custodes with big spears. Extra strength on the charge and extra AP. Stabbing them as they charge forward. Eldar jet bikes, not so much. They kind of want to skirt around and play little like guerrilla warfare tactics with you. They don't want to get into close combat. They want to just stay away, stay just out of range, and pew 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 pew. Thank you very much, Ali. Thank you. But what else we got? We've got skimmers. Now skimmers come in various forms. Now you've got like land speeders and what's the other Space Marine one called? No, that's Orcs. That's Orcs. That's Tyranids. I don't believe they had them in the 8th or 9th edition codex. I don't think they did. I may be wrong. Let's go have a look. There's chaplains, intercessor squads, there are elites. Lots of elites. Too many bloody elites in the Space Marine faction. I've got to change it now so you've got like close support and things. Outrider ATV, that's a bike squad, that's a scout bike squad which you don't buy anymore. That's it. The Storm Speeders, as well as the other ones, which are the Land Speeders. So the Storm Speeders is 3 different types. There's Land Speeders is 1 now, I think. But it was the Storm Speeders I was trying to think of. They did have it in the 8th and 9th Codex. But along with the Storm Speeders, Tau used skimmers as well. In this case, they're showing off the little small Piranha, which is the 2-man craft. Skimmers are the largest of the light vehicles and are typically crewed by more than one soldier. They are often used as highly mobile weapons platforms that carry out a specialist function. Pardon me. Sorry. That carry out a specialist function. Some are designed for speed, allowing the installation of ranged emplacements wherever and whenever the need arises. Others are designed for activities like hunting tanks or dispersing infantry. So yeah, the skimmers are just small little light tanks. Small little light tanks can get taken out quite easy. They are not difficult to pop. Ali, I think you've got my timetable down better than I have. That's worrying. That is worrying. Now we move on to the collect part. So a brief minute, take a deep breath, catch ourselves again, make sure we're not going too far ahead. And we've moved out of the lore section into the let's name this unit we can't build yet until next week. Let's find out all the things about them. So let's grab my Rugsden Hobbies dice. Because they're the ones I keep to hand because it's in a nice small little bag. again, thank you very much to our resident resin dealer, Graham, from Rogues Den Hobbies. And we need to roll some d6s. Not only do I need to get my dice, I need to put my dice tray together. This is all getting funny. I'm getting to roll the dice for a change. I might even leave this out and do some rolling afterwards when it says, when during the battle, this should happen. And during that battle, this should happen. Really? It never bloody happens to me. When it says I should roll that, I usually end up rolling once. But we'll find out. Oh, I so nearly clicked end screen by accident then. That would not have been good. So the Cthonian Beserkers take to the battle, brandishing deadly mining tools that they can use to storm fortified positions and destroy those within. Their augmentations provide them with the additional strength needed to wield their mighty weapons and give them the fortitude to fight on up until the moment of their death. We're going to find out the background of this particular group of Cthonian Beserks. So if we roll a 1 or a 2 on our d6, these Cthonian Beserks are fresh from a mining operation and are especially anxious to prove themselves worthy of battle. Roll 3 or a 4. These Cthonian Beserks have fought many battles against the Tyranids and have developed a seething hatred for this particular enemy. That doesn't sound good, I've got a lot of Tyranids. If you roll a 5 or a 6, these Cthonian Beserks are keen to fight and always push themselves to the front lines, even if they are supposed to be stationed at the rear. I want a 5 or a 6. So, let's see what we get. I'm going to roll that one. Oh yes, we get a 6. We got the Rogues Den symbol, which is a 6. If you don't believe me, there's a 1 next to it just to show that the Rogues Den symbol is in fact a 6. Completely opposite, see? So we got a 6. My Cthonian Beserks are nutters that don't do as they're told. They just want to run. Basically, my Cthonian Beserks are going to be orcs. They're going to run forward and smash things. And to hell with the orders that they've been given. Enemies in front of them, they're going to go smack them with a big axe. That just seems fitting. That seems fitting for me. That really does seem fitting for me. Now, again, you do get to name your Cthonian Beserks using the table found in F on the Leagues of Votann 1, either by rolling or picking the name they like best, and write it in that section if you really, really wish. And then deeds. Mark off the deeds when you complete them as you take your Cthonian Beserks unit through assembly, painting and gaming. So once you build it, you give it a tick. Once you painted it, you give it a tick. And once you actually play the game with them, you give it a tick. Let's have a look at their data sheet now. And this is the data sheet for the new unit of Cthonian Beserks. It contains all the information we need to use it in a combat patrol game. File this data sheet away safely so that it's ready to use in games and scenarios in this and future issues. No. I don't think the magazine expects me to tell it no, but I do. I tell it no. He's not listed the hammer here. I see hammers. See? Look. That's a hammer. That there is a hammer. There is another one. There is another one. So that's 3 hammers. On this data sheet, I do not see a hammer. So it is not the full data sheet. Do you not think it is? It is not. It is just the combat patrol data sheet, and they are going to try and make you build them in a very specific way. Now, the base stats don't change. They do have a movement of 5, or 5 inches, a toughness of 5, which isn't bad actually. They have a 6+ save, which it's a save, I suppose. As long as there's no AP involved, we should be alright. 2 wounds each, so they're not being taken out by light infantry fire too easily. Leadership of 7. Battle shock tests are not impossible to fail. And an objective control of 1. So they're not really objective control units, they're more enemy smasher units. They do have a ranged weapon, which is a mole grenade launcher. Has both the blast keyword and the indirect fire keyword. Range of 24 inches. D6 attacks. Obviously with having the blast, the more models there are in that unit, or if it's a vehicle with lots of wounds, you get to add 1 to that attack number. Ballistic skill hitting on 4s unless you're firing indirect, and it's hitting on 5s. Strength 5, which isn't bad actually. -1 AP and 1 damage. So they could take themselves out pretty easily if it was a Votann versus Votann fight. For melee weapons, now you can either have twin concussion gauntlets, which is what I call the power fists. They're concussion gauntlets apparently, because certain places have power fists, certain places have gauntlets. Don't know the difference. They both go over your hands, both powered, both go smashy smash. Twin linked obviously means you get to re-roll the wound rolls. It has 4 attacks, hitting on 4s, with a strength of 9. 9. That's almost good enough to get through some vehicles, definitely good enough to smash some elite infantry. -1 AP and 2 damage, so it's relatively general purpose. Not perfect for any one target, but it could do something against most. Or, in this case, you could take the heavy plasma axe. That has 2 attacks profiles, so it has a strike and a sweep mode. The strike, you only get 3 attacks. Hitting on 3s at strength 6, -2 AP and 2 damage. So that's your elite killer. Elites generally don't come in big units, so 3 attacks isn't too bad. 2 damage, certainly helping to take out those Space Marines and anything a little bit tougher. Overkill if you're fighting guard. If you're fighting guard, then the sweep mode will do. 6 attacks, so you're getting double the amount of attacks. Still hitting on 3s. Strength 4, so you're losing 2 strength, but against toughness 3s, you're still wounded on 3 pluses. It's not too bad. -1 AP and 1 damage. So it is designed more just to splat, 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 rather than just crunch. War gear abilities. Ooh, we have an ability on the mole grenade launcher. Add 1 to the wounds and attacks characteristics of the model equipped with this weapon. What, so only one of them can get the grenade launcher? That's a bit crap. Only one of them gets the grenade launcher. But you do get +1 wound and +1 attack. So if he can have the twin concussion gauntlets and the mole grenade launcher, then he can have 5 attacks. Wounding on 3s and 2s in a lot of cases. That's nice. They also have another. Oh, we have a core rule of feel no pain 5+. That's better than their armor save. So when they fail their armor save and on a 6+, they will lots. You're catching up. Sorry, I'm catching up on chat a minute. You're catching up on some drama. Okay. You always peg that person as a slime ball. Your spidey autistic senses proven right once again. Yeah. Well, last time you told me about somebody on Finternet and through Tube, well, you got my opinion and it wasn't very nice. I'm not repeating it because I don't wish to be banned from YouTube. I did use a lot of foul words and a lot of very descriptive methods to describe this person. Not the person that I just wrote about, though. So this is somebody else. But what else do these get as faction abilities? They get cyber stims. Ooh, that sounds fun. Intoxicated little cybermen. Each time a model in this unit is destroyed by a melee attack, if that model has not fought this phase, roll a d6. On a 4+, do not remove it from play. The destroyed model can fight after the attacking model's unit has finished making its attacks, and is then removed from play. So, yeah, if he gets smashed and killed before he gets a chance to hit you, on a 4+, he sticks around and goes, no, just give me a minute. I want to have a swing first. Has his swing, then gets taken off. Oh, I fight on death. That's not bad at all, especially with that 6+ save and the 5+ feel no pain. He's going to be dying a lot, so if you can get them into melee, there's a good chance they're going to get their attacks off anyway. Pardon me. So they seem like an alright unit, actually. A little slow, which most of the Votann are, but they can hit quite hard. Do with a couple of things like devastating wounds, which is what I think the hammers would probably give them. So I'd have to check up the actual Cthonian Beserks full stat sheet to see what the hammers do. So next week I'm maybe putting hammers on, not axes. Just because I'm a pain in the rear end like that. I don't think I've built many units as standard unless they've been easy build. How much have we got to go? Oh, we've got a fair bit to go. Oh, we've got all the Votann rules left to go, haven't we? So we're going to go through the campaign first of all, which is a campaign for the Orcs versus Tyranids. The Orcs and the Tyranids are both creatures of instinct. The Tyranid are driven by an insatiable hunger, while the Orcs simply relish the thrill of battle. When these two forces meet, the result is sheer carnage. As it should be. Anything involving the Orcs should be sheer carnage. A horde of Orcs have heard of the fighting that is going on in the sector. They have arrived in the sector in a motley fleet of barely functional spacecraft and installed themselves in the middle of the fighting. Hardly able to believe their luck. The war boss is desperate to prove himself and attract more Orcs to his army, so he will settle for nothing less than the biggest battle against the hardest enemy he can find. Luckily, in this sector, there are plenty of worthy opponents for him to choose from. Meanwhile, the Tyranids continue their deadly advance through the system, destroying and consuming all before them. The ultimate aims of the Tyranids cannot be discerned, and appeared unknowable, but one thing is certain. Whatever it is they are doing does not bode well for anyone caught in their path. Few of the other factions can resist them by even a single battle, but even those who survive may yet fall prey to the unstoppable onslaught of the ravenous Great Devourer. So this is a display of might mission. So to play this scenario in this campaign article, you will need the combat patrol mission called Display of Might. You can find this in your collection if you've kept hold of them all, and I hope you have. Filed under G, Core Missions 2. Now the layout is nice and simple. From the very centre of the board, 8 inches vertically in no man's land, and 8 inches down, so 8 inches in both directions, up and down. From the centre point, you will place an objective marker. Then again, going from the centre point, 14 inches both left and right, because you are playing along from the short edge to the short edge. 14 inches from the centre, you will put one objective marker in each person's deployment zone. And the edge of your deployment zone is 12 inches away from the centre line, so 24 inches away from each. The attacker, which I'm going to guess is the Orcs, will go on one side, and the defender, being the Tyranids, will go on the other. Kind of hard to tell which one's the attacker and which one's the defender between those two, because they both just want to attack. So in this case, the Orcs have heard of the Great Devourer and decide they want to find it and kick it in the head. Although perhaps not fully understanding their enemy, they have correctly identified that the Tyranids are a powerful foe, and their defeat would mark a great victory for the Orcs. This triumph would make a powerful rally cry and would seal the reputation of the Orcs as a bunch of really hard lads. The Orcs have started a relentless attack on the world of the system, and their arrival has disrupted the advance of the Tyranid fleet. Their attacks are wild and unpredictable, and the space is starting to fill with threatening foes. The hive mind sends out a small force to confront the Orcs and push them back, securing a greater area of space for the Tyranids to operate in without disturbance. I'm sorry about this. Mornings are not my friend. So, if you was to win as the Orcs, you will obviously claim, if it's your third victory, you claim the campaign victory, and the Orcs win. Orcs take the system. If it is not, then you will move on to the next battle until you have continued your 3 victories in your campaign. Same with the Tyranids. If you are victorious, you have won. Use your third one, you've won your campaign. If not, you carry on for the next mission. For the Orcs, it will be H campaign 10. If the Orc player has won 3, as I said, if he's won 3 in a row, you don't move on. But if you haven't, and it's your first or second, go and do campaign 10. And if you are the Tyranids, and this is not your third battle, so this is either your first or second, then you move on to Article H campaign 13. If it is the third battle, then everything's been nom-nom-nommed. And lastly, we get the Leagues of Votan faction ability, which is Eye of the Ancestors. How does this work? Each time an enemy unit destroys a Leagues of Votan unit from your army, that enemy unit gains 1 judgment token. An enemy can never have more than 2 judgment tokens at any time. Any further judgment tokens on the unit would gain are just ignored. Each time a model from your army makes an attack that targets a unit that has 1 or more judgment tokens, until that model's attacks have been resolved, apply the relevant bonuses from the table below. Okay, so it's only got 2 options. If you've got 1 judgment token, you add 1 to the hit roll. Very useful, especially on that blast weapon. If it has 2 judgment tokens, now we've got a grudge to sell, is what it's called, and you add 1 to both the hit and the wound roll. That is pretty damn good. It's a shame you've got to lose a unit. Ooh, pardon me. It is a shame. You advertising my hokey hokey there, Ali. It doesn't happen every week. I mean, a few people have been... Oh, I forgot to change that to live chat. Like JJ. JJ was lucky enough for this Monday to encounter Orkioki. And I think Northern was lucky enough on his first visit in here to encounter Orkioki. But it doesn't happen every week. Only when inspiration pings up. Oh, there are more than one way to... Okay, judgment tokens. This bit down here. There are 2 different ways to allocate judgment tokens to enemy units. Ooh, so you don't have to just kill a unit. That's good. The first is with the Karl's Grim Efficiency ability. You can find the rules for this in the Karl's data sheet and a detailed explanation in F Leagues of Votan 3. The other way to allocate judgment tokens is with the Eye of the Ancestors ability, which is explained in this article, which is if they kill a unit, they get a judgment token. If a unit with judgment tokens is removed from the battle, make a note of how many judgment tokens it had when it was removed. If that unit is set up on the battlefield again, place the corresponding number of judgment tokens next to it. If a unit with judgment tokens splits up into 2 or more smaller units, each of those units gains a number of judgment tokens equal to the original unit. If 2 units combine to form a single larger unit, and either of these had judgment tokens, make note of how many the unit with the most has. Just before they combine, the new unit has the number of judgment tokens equal to this. So you can really mount the judgment tokens on by getting at least 2 on a unit per round. So if the Carl dishes 1 out and that same unit turns around and blasts something off the table or takes out a melee and gets a second token, that's 2 tokens in one round. That's good. And when you get to go back again, you get to reroll the hits and the wounds. Awesome. Yeah, I'm not used to being up this early in the morning. You would think after issue 57 I would be, but apparently not. Okay, so Eye of the Ancestors tutorial with the little ring bindery bits that do not like opening. Oh, to answer your question, JJ, it's me that's shaking. When a unit gains judgment tokens, any friendly Leagues of Votann units gets a bonus when attacking them. Look through these tutorials to see examples of how the Eye of Ancestors ability can be used to allocate judgment tokens to enemy units, and how this provides bonuses to friendly units that attack them. Okay diddles. Passing Judgment. In order for an enemy unit to be allocated a judgment token with the Eye of Ancestors abilities, the unit must completely destroy a friendly unit that has the Leagues of Votann keyword. In this example, the unit of 3 Orc Boys are in combat with a unit of 3 Hearthkin Warriors. The boys destroy the whole unit of Hearthkin Warriors and get 1 judgment token. This will have an effect the next time one of the Leagues of Votann players makes an attack against the boys. 1 judgment token. In this example, the unit of 3 boys now have 1 judgment token. The Carl moves into attack. His mass gauntlet has a weapon skill characteristic of 3+, so the player would normally need to make a roll of 3 or higher in order to hit the boys. However, because the player can add 1 to the hit roll, the player only needs to roll a 2 in order to attack successfully. In order for the attack to successfully hit the enemy. If the hit is successful, they will still need to roll to wound, and this roll will be made as normal. If it has 2 judgment tokens, so in this example, the unit of 3 boys has incurred an additional judgment token and now has a total of 2. Once again, the Carl attacks the unit with their mass gauntlet. As before, the player can add 1 to their hit roll, meaning they will successfully hit on a dice roll of 2 or greater. This time, because there are 2 judgment tokens, they can also add 1 to their wound roll. Normally the player would need to roll a 3 to wound, but because they can add 1, now they can wound on a 2+. That +1 to wound is extremely powerful. It can go from a unit barely being able to touch its target to, no, this is quite easy now. No worries, Graham. You have fun. And yeah, I'll catch you tomorrow, mate. Tomorrow night. So trying to set those 2 judgment tokens on is a very good idea. Very good idea indeed. Now we're on for the Leagues of Votann Combat Patrol rules. Enhancements. Every Combat Patrol leader has their own specialisms and abilities, gained either through hard-won experience or from the training they have undergone as an elite warrior. Leaders of the Leagues of Votann who learn to excel will swiftly come to appreciate the value of efficiency from their battle companions down to their own stores of ammunition. Others learn to value communication and consistent contact with their troops. Secondary objectives. Everybody gets 2. 1 standard and 1 option. Fighting often breaks out when 2 armies want the same thing. Perhaps both are striving for the same resources or both are looking to occupy the same ground. But each army also has its own additional motives, called secondary objectives. They aim to satisfy when they go to war. When the kin go to war, they can be especially keen to secure additional ground. On other occasions, they might look to settle a grudge. New or old, don't matter, they got grudges. They're dwarves, of course they got grudges. Stratagems. Now, stratagems are pain. I've never been a huge fan of stratagems, but they're in the game, so we might as well make use of them. Stratagems are the ploys and the tactics that are available to commanders on the battlefield. In the desperate warfare of the 41st millennium, every advantage must be taken to prevail over the foe. While leagues of Votann commanders can take advantage of the same maneuvers that are available to all great leaders, they can also take advantage of the physiological makeup of their troops or make use of the advanced technology at their disposal. Are you actually going to give us these enhancements and stuff and tell us what they are, or are you just going to tell us about them? No, there we go. Next page is the enhancements. So your 2 enhancements for your leader, which would be this little chappy. So your default enhancement is Waste Feeds the Void. One of the many kin truths. This saying is an admonition against frivolous expenditure of all sorts, ammunition included. It is an idiom. An idiom this warrior has taken to heart, and one they have drilled into their warriors until careful and steady shot placement has become second nature. So steady and relentless has their marksmanship become that they can maintain a punishing hail of fire whether on the advance or staging a tactical retreat. In rules terms, that means each time a model in the bearer's unit makes a ranged attack, reroll a hit roll of 1. In addition, the bearer's unit is eligible to shoot in a turn in which it fell back. So, rerolling a hit roll of 1, nice, because 1s are always natural fails anyway, or automatic fails. And if you've got enough judgment tokens on, you might be hitting on 2s anyway. So, hitting on 2s, rerolling just 1 hit roll of 1. Oh no, reroll hit rolls of 1, so it's multiple. It says reroll a hit roll of 1, and then it says there reroll hit rolls of 1. Make your mind up. Any model in the unit may roll hit roll. So no, all of them can reroll hit rolls of 1. Awesome. So if you're hitting on 2s and rerolling 1s, that is a bad day for your opponent. This is why I got bad. That's why I got no one to play with Space Marines in the last edition. Because I was rerolling 1s with hits and wounds. Okay. Now you do have an optional, which is Pragmat Comms Uplink. The hardened communications rig has been worked into this warrior's armour and loaded with priority override boosters. This ensures that the kin on the battlefield who most needs up-to-the-minute strategic and tactical updates can cut through any lower priority exchanges to acquire them. Game rule: add 1 to the objective control characteristic of models in the bearer's unit. In addition, you can re-roll battle shock tests for that bearer's unit. So the Carl, if he was in a unit of Hearthkin warriors, the Carl's OC would go up from 1 to 2, and the Hearthkin warriors would go up from 2 to 3, making them particularly tough to shift from objectives, especially if you want to claim that objective from them. Speaking of objectives, Victory points are the key to winning games of Combat Patrol. In addition to the main objectives of the mission, you can also gain points through secondary objectives. You automatically get toil urns as a secondary objective. A secondary objective. If you prefer, you can swap it for settle a grudge before the battle begins. So toil urns is the default one. Once the kin have set their sights on a particular goal, they will fight with bloody-minded tenacity to hold it. In their estimation, whoever works hardest to claim that vital battlefield asset has an inarguable right to its possession. Before the battle, at the start of the deploy army step, you must select one objective marker that is not in your deployment zone. From the second battle round onwards, at the end of your turn, you score 4 victory points if you control that objective marker. So, they're only eligible if they're in no man's land or in your opponent's deployment zone, and you can't claim them on turn 1. But it's a nice way to earn extra victory points. If you're not so much bothered about that, because you know you're not going to get to any midfield points quickly by turn 2, but you know somebody's going to get to you quicker than that, you can go for the optional secondary objective. In this case is settle a grudge. The kin declare a grudge only in the most extreme circumstances. When such grave insult has been given that the pragmatic calculus of battle has been cast aside in favour of the enemy's utter annihilation at any price. Once they have made this commitment, however, nothing short of death will halt their cold, methodical dismantlement of their enemies. All that means on the tabletop is, from the second battle round onwards, at the start of the battle round, select one enemy unit that is not destroyed and has one or more judgment tokens to be your army's target for that battle round. At the end of the round, you score 4 victory points if your army's target for that battle round was destroyed. In this example, the player selects the Winged Tyranid Prime as the target. The Cthonian Beserks destroy the Winged Prime and the player gets 4 victory points. Easy enough, but I don't see how the Winged Prime's got a grudge token on it. Unless it's been given one by a Cal. Not very good at shooting, and by that point you're already stuck in close combat. And lastly, it should be... stratagems. Now we only get 3. If you get the codex, you will get 6. So stratagems allow you to spend your command points on tactical ploys and manoeuvres to gain the edge in battle. For more information, see Section C, Core Rules 3, page 11. I hope you're putting all these in order, otherwise that lot does not make any sense. So the first stratagem, payment in kind. It's a Warp Speaks Protect and Epic Deed stratagem. When can you use this? Any phase. Who is the target? 1 Leagues of Votann unit from your army that was just destroyed by an attack made by an enemy model. You can use this stratagem on that Leagues of Votann unit even though it was just destroyed. What does it do? Well, until the end of the battle, each time a Leagues of Votann model from your army makes an attack that targets that enemy model's unit, reroll hit rolls of 1. So that's more rerolling hit rolls of 1. Excellent. Can always do with a bit of that. Second one is Panspectral Sweep. The multifunctional panspectral scanners employed by the kin lay bare the weak points of the enemy's defences. Okay. When do you use it? You use it in your own shooting phase. Target one of your own League of Votann units that has not been selected to shoot yet. So usually quite early on in your shooting phase. And it has the effect of, until the end of the phase, Ranged weapons equipped by models in these units have the lethal hits ability. Ooh. Pardon me. He's really getting me this morning. So that lethal hits ability means on a hit roll of a 6, you don't have to make a wound roll. It has already made a wound. You just go straight to the armor save section. Armor save bar. On that hit. You still got to roll the wounds for the rest. And the last one is called Skein Rot Physiology. Why did they give me so many complicated things to say? I can't do it sometimes. But when do you use it? You use this in your opponent's shooting phase just after an enemy unit has selected its target. So after the Space Marines have picked out your Cthonian Beserks, select one Leagues of Votann unit from your army that was selected as the target of one or more of the attacking tanks. Okay. Until the end of phase, improve the save characteristic of models in the unit by one. The save characteristic? It's save characteristic. Improve your save characteristic by 1. So in this example, the Hernkin Pioneers have a 4+ save as standard. If you were to use Skein Rot Physiology, it would take it to a 3+ save. Same save as a Space Marine. That's daft. That is truly daft. Okay. Now, soon, so in issue 61, we're getting a brand new battle map. Also in preparation for getting the Genestealer cults and the Astra Militarum. Which we can see there. This is Genestealer cults. As I said, we'll be getting the Goliath, the Rock Grinder. We will be getting the Atalan Bikers. We will be getting Abhorrents. We will be getting Cultists. We will also be getting... Okay, so we get a Magus. We get Acolyte Hybrids. And we get Neophyte Hybrids. Oh no, them... Yeah, I can go about. So, right, yeah, we get Abhorrents. So, they must be the Neophyte Hybrids. They must be the Acolyte Hybrids, and they're the Abhorrents. This is the Magus. That is the Goliath Rock Grinder. And that's the Atalan Jackals. Okay, we know that one. With the Astra Militarum, just check I've actually got this in the right place now. Yep. With the Astra Militarum, we'll be getting a command squad, or a Cadian command squad. Two sets of Cadian shock troops. A pair of field ordnance batteries, a set of a 3-man heavy weapon squad, and a sentinel. You get the sentinel after you get the jackals. Which also brings us to what's going to be weird here. So next week and the week after. Next week we will be getting part 2 of obviously the Cthonian Beserks, as it shows there. The week after, we get a full model, and it is a model that I want, it is a model I like, and it is a model that is just fun. What is not fun about having a little gimped up Gretchen strapped to the front of your car as you're hurtling towards your enemy? That is just brilliant. Now, I do have a custom booster blaster, I have a shock jump dragster, and soon I will have a Boom Dakka Snaz wagon. Yes, that is what it's called. Yes, it is cool as fuck. I know it, you know it, just live with it. But Boom Dakka Snazwagon, that's what we're going to be getting in 2 weeks. Boom Dakka Snazwagon. After we get the Boom Dakka Snazwagon, that's when we get the Ironhair Hearthguard. So there is still one more Leagues of Votann unit to come after we get that final Orc unit. Now that is the final Orc unit. After the Iron Hair Hearthguard, we will be getting the Magus, and that will be moving us on to the Genestealer Cults, then the Imperial Guard, and then finally, after the Imperial Guard, we will get a World Eater's Lord and Juggernaut, which can be built as the Lord Invocatus. We will be getting 10 Jackals. We will be getting 20 Khorne Beserkers, and we will be getting a Mauler Fiend. That will take us all the way up to the end of Combat Patrol completely. But that will also mean I get to finish my World Eater's army. How fun is that going to be? Now we are in October, so hopefully that means I'm going to be getting the Boomdax Stars Wagon in time for before the end of October. I have been painting some stuff for October in case anyone is wondering. I have been painting my Glasgow Thwacker model, which is my converted Nemesis Dread Knight armour into an Orc. It's a proxy for Gazgul Thracker. I was not paying that price for him when I got given a Nemesis Dread Knight armour set. But that is the Combat Patrol for today. Next week, as I said, I will probably not stream on the Wednesday because I have something to do out of the house. I have to wear black and go to a not too happy day. But I will cover it on the following day or the Wednesday night, depending which one happens sooner. Hopefully it'll be the Wednesday night. If not, then it'll be the Thursday morning. I'll cover the next issue of Combat Patrol. And then Thursday night we'll go into the Magical World of Sparkles and Oak as normal. Tomorrow night will be 9:30 in the UK. Magical World of Sparkles and Oak. Where's he gone? Where's he gone? I don't like this. I should have a Lizard Wizard. Oh, there he is. So we have the Lizard Wizard for tomorrow night as well. So please feel free to come and join me tomorrow. Hit the subscribe, like, blah blah blah, YouTube button press thing, bob if you want. If you don't have to. It's entirely up to you. If you've enjoyed coming to see me and listen to me waffle on, and you want to have more of a chat with me tomorrow night, please feel free to come and join us. Is there anything else that I'm forgetting? Probably. I always forget something. Either way, drive safe everyone. Thank you very much for coming to join me, and enjoy the rest of your day.